Well, sorry about that. iPad I was using to record decided to have a full memory after 37 minutes of video. Got the 6 bolts off of the dual mass flywheel. Here's the clutch. Clutch is actually not in bad shape. It is a Ford clutch. There's the part number, E7T A7550MB. This is the front side, so it's facing that side right there. It is a Ford, so actually doesn't look bad at all. You know, this thing. Some guys like these, some guys don't. This is the dual mass. Now I can see the difference just by looking at it now, where if this was solid, it would, I guess, you give you more vibrations in the cab is what they say, but who knows. At this point, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all these push rods out. I think I'm going to lay them in order. At this point, I kind of don't really care. And then I'm going to pull that side off, manifold, and pull the rockers off, pull the push rods out, pull the wishbone out, maybe pull all the lifters out. I might end up pulling the water neck off here in front, figuring out the ratchet style. It is like 9:30 right now. I've been out here for about 40 minutes, a little over 40 minutes, and working on this thing. I do have to go to work tomorrow, and probably going to be another long day. Today wasn't so bad. Ooh, excuse me. You can tell I'm tired. I'm yawning now. So that is so trippy the way they designed that and did that. For whatever reason, when I was taking the transmission out, I could not get that stupid inspection cover off, and I can't remember why, and I don't know if it was pinched behind something else that's not supposed to be behind, but I could not get it off, and it was like, there's a reason this is supposed to come off, and I can't get it off, and I can't remember why, so I'm going to get this flywheel off, and as well, and then I'm going to get the adapter off. This is the first adapter I'd be taking off a motor, and I'd really like to look at this because I've seen guys convert ZF5s, or I shouldn't say convert, I should say adapt ZF5s to Cummins 5.9 motors, and it's very interesting how thick the adapter is here and how thin I've seen some guys make them to adapt another motor. So just keep that in mind. If I was to put a Cummins in a truck like this, that adapter that goes to a ZF5 is like $750, $800, depending on who you buy it through. There's another alternative if you were doing that kind of conversion. If you were converting, if you were taking out the International V8 and putting in the Cummins 5.9, you might as well go with a ZF5, or you might as well go with a NV4500 out of a Dodge and then bolt it up with an adapter from Advanced Adapters, because it's only like $500. And you do cut the shaft in the transmission, and I've seen that done by Ford Man MT. And it's actually pretty interesting to me because these motors are so heavy and they don't get the, the aftermarket that they deserve. They are starting to. I've told you that in my other video. And I'd like to see even more, but for right now, I mean, this is stock. This is bone stock, the way Ford put it out with an International motor in it. So let's get back to work. I'm gonna find a place to set this thing. It's not gonna be easy. Looks like it's gonna work. This is what happens when you don't have a tripod, so you have to kind of make do with what you have. All right, so those were 3/8 on the 6 bolts that brought the clutch off. Now I'll see what size these are. That was actually a 5/8 right, 5/8 right there. I tried up to a 16, so let me go see about maybe a 17 or an 18. See if they fit better. They do have a 5 on them, so I'm kind of wondering if they're actually a grade 5 or if it's actually supposed to be like a point, like a 5 point something for metric. I have an 18 in my hand, but the problem is I couldn't find a 17. Those are the 2 sizes I'm going to try real quick. And 18 is too loose, and 17 is way too loose. So those are 5/8. Oh, there's the rod. I don't know if it's just smashing in the bottom of the block or smashing in the bottom of the pan. So to me, I'm kind of at a woo. There's some fuel coming out of it. Still got the fuel pump on it, so it is actually, I guess at this point, not locked up. Rotating all the way around. So at one point I thought it was completely locked up from the carnage and me spinning it when it was still in the truck to see if it really was. There's a lot of oil on that, man. Just gets a lot of oil. Okay, I'm gonna set these down here for now. try to get them all somewhat loose, and maybe leave like tell you what, right now I'm just had to take my gloves off when I switched over to my iPhone to record this. And man, this steel is super cold. 30 degrees out here, so it's not easy. Okay, I think that's the only one still tight. I might be wrong. Enough of them on here. Okay, those two are loose. That one's loose, so the only last one that's... Oh, that one's loose too. Sweet. This is the first time taking one of these apart, and like I said, it's just... I never knew the kind of how the dual mass worked. I've heard about them. I've heard guys scattering them down the road. You know, it's nice to be able to kind of take something apart, look how it's engineered and how it works and how it maybe helps the harmonics of this motor as you're in your truck going down the road. But I'm sure I've heard a lot of stories of guys just blowing them apart. I don't know if you get too much horsepower or what, but you know, I don't even think they make a dual disc clutch one for this one. I think they make it more for the aftermarket of the other ones. Woo. All right, that thing is heavy. All right, excuse me being in the way. That thing is massive, and it is almost has a clutch system built into the back of it. That is freaking insane the way that thing's made. I think I'm going to do a conversion, and I'm just going to try one. Depending on what's in my 94, if my 94 is a solid, I'm definitely going solid all the way. But I might put this thing back on just because of how good a shape it's in. It might just be easier to do that. It is so cold out here. This little 13-minute video has wiped out the battery on my phone almost. So it might be the time to hang it up for the rest of the night. Oh. I'm gonna slide that down there. I'm gonna get a bag. Actually, I'm just gonna use the clutch bolts and flex plate bolt, or flywheel bolts, all in one. Bam. So this guy, I could not for the life of me figure out what is going on up in here. And it's like, I think it's actually broken, and there's so much crud up in there from like oil draining down from back up in here, and probably even somewhere in the rear main, that I couldn't even see up in there to figure out what was hanging this thing up. I could not get this off, but it looks like it's just supposed to kind of come right off, but man, there's just not, for whatever reason, it is, oh, there's, okay, see, so I was taking that off before the starter, and now I find out, now I see what was hanging it up. There's a bolt, like right back in here, holding that there. So let me, I'm gonna reach in front of the camera here, grab a couple of sockets. I'm not sure what size it is, but I'm gonna grab a, well, it's not that one, and that was 3/8. And actually this is 1/2 inch. 1/2 inch actually fits it very nicely. So goes. Look at that. That is the dust cover for the transmission. There's one bolt up behind the starter. Couldn't see it. I thought it was this one up here. So weird. But even has like area where your rear main's leaking really bad if it's oil. A lot of oil's coming out of there. Also over here, figure out where the rest of the bolts are for that. And I am at low power mode, so I think I'm done for the night. Obviously, we know number 5 cylinder was the bad one. Kind of figured that out last night. So I'm gonna tomorrow night, if my wife gives me some time out in the garage, I'll take that adapter plate off and start taking the rest of that other head, that manifold off and everything else. You guys have yourself a good night. Thanks for watching. For some more international 7.3 IDI content, check back tomorrow. I'm going to try to upload these in order, so you'll see it soon. Thanks.